Good day, students. Miss Thomas here again. Welcome to 2021. Today we're going to talk about communication. This is the last few topics in the CSEC syllabus. It's called the options topic. Options section, sorry. The options section has communication, tourism, and consumer affairs. For the next few weeks, we'll be doing communication. And then we'll move on to consumer affairs after. But what is communication? Communication is the process of transmitting verbal, visual, and written information from one individual to a group or group to another, sending information from one person to another. We do this every day. We do this all our lives. But there's a process to communication that probably we take for granted or, we just not aware of. But the process is you have a sender, and in this case, I am the sender. You have the medium or media of communication, and the medium or media in this case would be YouTube via video. And the receiver on the other end of that spectrum is the receiver, which is you. And then for communication to be complete, the receiver would send feedback. You could give me feedback in the comment section below. So the process of communication involves a sender at the start of the process. It go through a medium or media of communication. Then you have the receiver, and the receiver gives feedback to say, yes, I understand what was said, or no, I don't, clarify, or things like that. When you're sending like a WhatsApp message, we have so many social media or communication devices now, apps that we use. Say you're sending a WhatsApp or a messenger message. You are the sender, so you type up your message, your message goes through a media, which would be the app. Also using your phone, that will be part of the media of communication or medium of communication. So you're the sender. WhatsApp would be the media that carries the message to the receiver, whoever you're sending your message to, and the receiver would send feedback to you. So the process is sender through a medium or media, receiver, and then feedback. That's the cycle of communication. There are different forms of communication. We have verbal, generally two forms of communication, verbal and non-verbal. Verbal involves any sort of communication that involves the alphabet, print, speech, song. So this would be considered verbal communication. Even though it's not speaking to you, it's using words. So it's verbal communication. As opposed to someone screaming. They're not using words. That is non-verbal communication. You have speech. But there's a whole group of persons who don't use speech, but they communicate nonetheless. We have persons who are hearing impaired, deaf persons, they use sign language, and they communicate very well without using speech. So that is non-verbal communication. You travel on the roadways and you come upon some lights by an intersection. Those lights communicate to you. When you see the light shows red, you know that red indicates that you should stop. That is non-verbal communication, but it's communication nonetheless. When the light says green, it doesn't say green, of course. Lights don't speak. But they actually indicate to you what you should do. Red, stop. Yellow or amber, slow down, proceed with caution. And green, you're safe to go ahead. So even though it doesn't use words, it communicates. It's non-verbal communication. There are many non-verbal ways that we communicate. If I do this, you know I'm saying bye. Do this. Say good job. Or I'm looking like this. You know I'm probably bored or sleepy. There are many times people use their eyes or parts of their body. You could tell what somebody is saying just by their posture or the gestures that they use. That is non-verbal communication. So verbal communication involves use of words, either printed word or spoken word or sung word if it's sung. So songs are verbal communication. And of course, there's non-verbal communication. There's screams. I'm pretty sure you know what a scream sounds like. No words are being used there. That's non-verbal communication. There's some art that doesn't involve the use of words would be considered non-verbal communication. You know the art form also of mimes. I can't mime. You know the mimes, the artists who speak without words and they paint their faces white. A mime, M-I-M-E. They don't use words, but they communicate their messages very well. So, just to recap, we talk about what communication is. It's the process of transmitting verbal or visual or written information from one person to another. There's a process of communication that involves the sender, the medium or media, receiver, and feedback. And there are forms of communication which would be generally verbal and non-verbal communication. In the coming weeks, we will continue with more on communication. So I would just like to say to remember to like, share, and subscribe. And happy communicating. Bye.